Hello guys, right, so welcome to this video. We are 11 days out from the Olympia, so we're getting very close. We are 5 days from leaving the UK and heading to Vegas. I am bollocks, to put it politely. Yeah, like I said, I've given my absolute everything to this prep. I'm in a really good place, but I'm very tired, and I just need this final push this next week. So today's video, again, I really struggle on how to show you this because it's very samey. As a bodybuilder, it's all about consistency, and for me, for the last, I don't know, over 13, 14 years, I've trained for over 20 years, but for the last 13, 14 years, I've ate the same meals every day, and it's just consistency. So I've showed you these in previous preps, but I am going to show you, because I want to be honest, and we'll just talk about how it's changed from probably the last video I've done on nutrition. So the meals will stay the same, and I'm going to show you as I make them. I'm on meal 2 now, so as I'm making this, we'll talk about how the carbs have decreased, the fats have increased slightly, and the reasons behind that. The reasons behind having refeeds, listening to your body. I'm having to listen to my body very intrinsically at the minute because each day is changing massively now. So we have to be careful not to eat into muscle, but then not to overfeed back up and start putting body fat on and messing with the metabolism. So it's all exciting stuff. Promise you, I am happy. So let's get on with this meal because I am starving. Right, so meal 1, which we're going to do a bit of an overhaul of this, so you'll see some clips from me eating this before, but is 100 grams of oats, never go below 100 grams of oats, 30 grams blueberries, 15 grams almond butter. That used to be 20, down to 15, so we just tapered down a little bit on them, and 2 scoops whey protein, around 40 grams. So that's my meal 1, and that's post cardio session. My cardio sessions, fasted about 5:30 in the morning, 30 minutes cross trainer, 30 minutes incline walk, and then 30 minutes core posing and isotension work. So we're moving on to meal 2, which is at 10:30. So I normally eat around 8, and now 10:30. We've got 4 whole eggs. We're going to have 3 whole eggs and then 1 egg white with that, just to bump the protein up a little bit. Some people say, why don't you have the 10 egg whites and the 1 full egg? For me, it's wasting good food, wholesome food. And yes, there's saturated trans fats in the yolk, but that's not a bad thing. And as long as you're having it in balance, we're not having 20 of these eggs a day, there's nothing wrong with it. Don't waste your eggs. So this is a new one this year. Actually, I've changed it up. Instead of having rice, basmati rice, which I have my eggs, normally it's 100 grams, which is around 30 to 35 grams net carbs in rice. 35. I've mixed it up and I'm having rice cakes instead. It's a poor man's egg McMuffin, but 36 grams of carbs, so it's roughly the same amount of carbs, and it just spices my second meal up. So yeah, so each rice cake is 6 grams of carbs, so 36 grams in total is absolutely nothing. Bon appetit.
Anything I bet tastes good at this point, right?
It does indeed, yeah. But yeah, this is meal 2. I mean, I can imagine in 2 weeks' time, this will not be coming anywhere near me, but now, it's probably one of my favourite meals. Yeah, Amy can't stand this meal. It makes her feel sick. Yeah, Daddy, close it, shut it. Good boy, thank you. Daddy, do it. Let go.
Careful.
Good boy.
Come here, mate. Good boy. That one.
Daddy, do it. Good boy. Right, so I've consumed meal 2, and obviously I've got to wait an hour before I can train. So this is typically what I do. I have 2 meals, then I train. So whilst I'm I'm waiting for my food to digest. I'm going to prep a few of the other meals for later today. So my go-to with veg has always been broccoli and asparagus. Never got bored of it, nice and easy. So what I typically do then, so meal 1, I've already explained, is the oats. Meal 2 is the rice cakes and the whole eggs. Meal 3 is chicken, white meat chicken, 200 grams fast acting with 80 grams of rice, and that's in weight, which again is, you're looking like what, 30 to 35 grams of carbs. So we are really low now, and in previous preps I've had really high carbs, never really gone below 300 grams on my whole prep in a day. But this time around, I don't know whether it's age or obviously having a family. You can hear Alf in the background screaming. This is what he does in the middle of the night sometimes. So my sleep's not as good, body might not be reacting as well. Just a different beast now. That things I'm having to do a little bit more drastic. So I've increased my fats more as I've got older, and my protein intake slightly more. But my carbs have had to come down a bit more drastically. And even though it's still probably around 220 to 250 grams of carbs a day, roughly, a little less, yeah, 220 grams, I still feel that as though it's like 0 carbs. I have no energy at this stage. But that is part of bodybuilding, and if it was easy and you felt full of energy every day, everyone would do it, wouldn't they? Everyone would find it easy, whereas these are the days that count and separate you from the rest of the pack. So already just having that second meal, I feel like my energy levels are just starting to rise up again, and that's kind of what I'm like at the minute, going by meal. So as soon as you're there, you've got a window of what, 2 hours max before you start to proper dip again before your next meal. So it just shows you're very in tune and you're very sensitive at this stage. So my go-to seasonings are mixed herbs for my chicken, or paprika, garlic granules, pink Himalayan. Boom, perfect. That's what you want. That's the perfect way to cook chicken breast. So Ninja air fryer, max crisp, 240, so it's the hottest, at 13 minutes. Honestly, epic. Crispy on the outside, nice and moist in the middle. For salmon, 2 fillets in each. Go on to bake, 180 for 13 minutes. Absolutely amazing, incredible. Crispy on the outside, really nice and moist in the middle. Steak, max crisp, 240 for 13 minutes. Honestly, game changer, promise you. So whilst that is cooking, I'm going to get some meals out. Obviously I can't show you my salmon meal, which is in the evening, because it's not the evening yet, and I like to cook that fresh. If I'm at home, I like to cook the meals as fresh as I can. But I'll show you meals 3 and 4, and then I'll do some overlay of what my 5th meal looks like, because I've showed you my salmon meal quite a lot, so that'll be like old footage, but it'll just give you a bit of an indication of what I'm eating. But the main difference from the last food video to this one is just the calories. The calories are really down now, and we're just pushing through, and then hopefully next week we can start to increase in peak week. I don't do anything massively drastic anymore. I used to like carb deplete, 0 carbs for 3 days, then mass carb up, sodium deplete, water load. Used to do loads of these things, whereas I've always wanted to look the way I look a week out, so why change it? So the last Arnold prep I did, I just ran in exactly the same and then topped up a few carbs the day before, and it was the best I ever felt. So that's the intention for this Olympia. So yes, I'm running low now, but as we go into next week, we'll start to taper up to like a normal, moderate level. Again, around the 250 to 300 grams of carbs mark, around the 200 grams of protein mark, and around the 50 to 70 grams fats mark. And I'll just run that in, and then maybe the day before just increase my carbs, just so I get a better reaction when I pump up backstage. Get your words out. Oh, dribble. Oh, what's that, you may ask? So, this is electrolytes. I've always struggled to get water in on prep. Water is really important for numerous things. And I came across electrolytes last Arnold prep. And there's 5 calories in all of that. And it tastes unbelievable. Strawberry limeade or something, I think it is. But it's really easy for me to get the fluids in that I need in the day, plus more, because obviously it's got full of electrolytes and whatever. So that's just a little trick if you are struggling. Find a good electrolyte. Like I say, there's only 5 calories in that, so it's not going to be too detrimental to my prep, but it really helps in getting the fluids in. So I'll have one of them a day, full one of them a day, and then I'll have water, obviously around training, in my pre, intra, post workout shakes. And I'll have a lot of peppermint tea or green tea throughout the day. 1 black coffee in the morning. So I'm old school in cooking my rice. I have got a rice cooker, which I use massively off season. I love it, but when I'm on prep, I go back to the old school way of cooking my rice. And that way I can clean all the starch off. And yeah. A bit more long-winded, but every little helps, every little counts. Boom. So, technically, in 13 minutes, we have, not technically, we have, in 13 minutes, we've got chicken, rice, and my veg all done. So anyone who says they haven't got time to prep is talking out their arse, because I guarantee you're on Instagram or social media longer than 13 minutes. And there you have it. So that could last me for, what, 2 days? If I'm only having two meals, I'd obviously have other meals. But so simple, so easy. 13 minutes, no excuses. Right, so there you have it, guys. There's 4 of my 5 meals. I'm going to show you my last meal now, which is the salmon meal. Again, I have 2 salmon fillets, around 80 grams of rice, and broccoli or asparagus. So I'm going to put the whole meal plan, my daily meal plan, on the screen now, so you can just see what I'm consuming overall. My protein intake around training as well, so my pre, intra and post workout shakes are quite simple now. So it's EAAs before, no carbs, EAAs intra, no carbs with creatine, scoop of creatine, 5 grams of creatine, and post workout I have 2 scoops of whey protein, no carbs. So it's very, very low around training now, because if you remember when I first started my prep, it was at 300 grams of carbs, 100, 100 and 100. So very, very drastic changes, but that's what it takes to obviously get as lean as we can for these last few days. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. Like I say, things have only changed with regards to weight of food and my calorie intake that way. The fundamentals of the meals have stayed the same. So thank you for watching. Hope it gives you a little insight into it, and you will see me in the next video, which obviously I'm off to train now, and that's going to be my last session we're going to show you before we get to stateside. So that'll be the last session in the UK. As you can tell, I am struggling because I can't even get my sentences out very well, but all good. Let's go, let's do this. Thank you for watching.